Today I'd like to talk about how best you can safely drive your vehicle, how to avoid hazards, these types of things. In 2015, the National Safety Council reported that nearly 40,000 people died in car crashes in America. In 2010, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said that most accidents happen at intersections. What is it about intersections that would cause crashes? In this video, I'll talk to you about other hazards later, but for now, we'll talk about intersections. Most intersections are controlled by stop signs, yield signs, or traffic lights. The two main types of traffic lights are sensor lights and timed lights. With sensor lights, your car pulls up to the sensor and they tell the light that it's time to change. Generally, cross traffic will be green indefinitely until you pull up to the sensor. In this example, my car pulls up to the red X, and as I do, the light immediately counts down from 12. So this could be said to have a 12-second red to green time, this light. The next example, Southeast 5th and Porter, changes much faster. So here we are driving north on Southeast 5th. The traffic light ahead is green, but notice the red X where a truck will pull up to the sensor and how fast the light changes. Also notice that I'm going slow. If I was going faster, I might have to slam on the brakes, or worse yet, run a red light. Another example is here at Washington, and you really want to slow down whenever you come to a light, even if it's green, because things can surprise you at the last second, and you want to have time to stop. Sensor lights depend on drivers pulling up to sensors for them to change, but with timed lights, it doesn't matter if there's someone in the crossroad or not, they still change. As is the case with this one, every 30 seconds. They're very common in downtown Des Moines. Pedestrian indicators tell pedestrians when they can use the crosswalk, right? Like this white walk signal, followed by a flashing red hand and a countdown timer. This tells us exactly when the light will change. It's great. Some lights only have the flashing red hand. And some lights, like this one, do not have any pedestrian indicators to speak of. So we need to be clued into things like if there's traffic at the crossroad. If so, the light will change soon. Remember, some lights change in 5 seconds, so we really have to be careful about those. At intersections controlled by stop signs, good communication is imperative. Let's say we come to a stop sign, but at the same time we do, cross traffic comes to theirs. Who goes first? Maybe they'll wave you on. In this case, if it's just you and another driver, I would say use your best judgment. But in a case where there's 4 drivers, you're going north, there's a driver going east, south, and west, and someone's waving you on, I would be very cautious because 3 other drivers could think that it's their turn to go. And sometimes there's pedestrians walking across the street even though you're supposed to go. Be cautious in cases like these. Now that we've talked about intersections, let's talk about hazards. Blocked corners are common in downtown areas. There's lots of buildings. This is an open corner. For the sake of comparison, imagine you're on 15th looking east. You can because there's no obstruction there. But in this example, if you are on 9th looking east, you can't because of this building that's blocking your view of Mulberry Street. Here's another example. If you are on Grand looking south down 17th, you can't because of the building. On May 17, 2017, a powerful storm hit Des Moines and knocked the power out of these lights by the Capitol at East 12th and Grand. This is a dangerous situation because some people treat it as if there were no lights at all. Later that day I went past this intersection. There's a temporary stop sign, which is better than nothing, and you want to be extra careful around dead lights. Every now and then we hear a fire truck or an ambulance. In this example, the light has just turned green, but I hear a siren. I'm not sure where the emergency vehicle is though. So I wait here, and I can't see to my left, which is to the south of me because of this blocked corner. Notice on my right side, there's a truck that almost collides with this ambulance here. And so be very cautious when you hear sirens. Motor stare is a common cause for a car crash. In this example, when the light turns green, I take my foot off the brake, but this white car cuts me off. It's important I did not insist on right-of-way because I could have caused a crash. In this example, the driver probably looked left and right but not left again. And in this example, the driver of the black car was impatient and he could have hit that blue car. When we're driving, we usually just think about the traffic straight in front of us. But what about the traffic to the left and the right of us, the adjacent traffic? In this video, a red van is stalled in the right lane, and the traffic in the right lane needs to get around it, so it spills over into my lane. Think about that. The traffic next to you could become the traffic in front of you sooner than you think. And here are some examples of why that might happen. We don't usually think of parked cars as being a hazard, but in this example, I'm trying to take a right turn, but the parked cars make it hard for me to see around the bend, so I have to take this turn very slow. In another example, I want to take a right on red, but all these cars here make it hard to see the oncoming traffic, so I should probably wait till the light's green. Here's another example, the bridge over 235, punctuated by a no turn on red sign. When we merge, we want to merge as soon as we're able to safely do so. But in this example, a driver is leaving the highway and a driver is getting onto the highway at the last second. And it's just not the safe thing to do. In the next example, this is why you don't merge right before a stoplight, a red light, because I'm slowing down and now I have to slow down even faster because that person merged into my lane. When driving down a road for the first time, be looking for things like stop signs, yield signs, and traffic lights. This next street, Sheridan, going west, does not have a stop sign, but if you're going that way, it is assumed that you would stop. The next street, 35th, going north, also does not have a stop sign, but again, you would have to stop if you were going that way. So don't just assume because some streets don't have stop signs, you don't have to stop. Err on the side of caution. In this next street, 34th, does have a stop sign, but it's hard to see because of the tree cover. So use extra caution when you're driving down a street for the first time. Buses and trucks are very, very heavy vehicles. They take a long time to stop, and you want to avoid them when you can. Don't turn right in front of them. And remember that they do wide turns, and they usually go slow when they turn, so that they do not hit a curb with their back tires. When merging into the lane of a bus, always merge behind it and never in front of it, and expect it to make frequent stops to pick up passengers and also at all railroad crossings. In the downtown area, there's a lot of people walking around. Some use crosswalks, others make their own path between parked cars, jaywalking. We have to make sure that they see us and that we see them. And in certain cases, the light will be green for us, but they think they can walk across. We should tap the horn, point to the light, make sure that they know that we have right of way. In the last video, you saw two examples of reckless driving. Some have road rage issues. We want to get as far as possible away from these drivers when we see the red flags. For some of them, it's just a matter of time before they cause a crash. So those are some hazards. Maybe you thought about some of your own and how you could avoid them. I hope that this video has been helpful. Thanks for watching, and drive safe.